welcome back to our channel. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, this dude is a recurring guest star by now, so, I mean, you'll see him credited in my intro.
Somebody save!
Yeah. So today we're actually going to be talking about something different. We're not going to be talking about Smallville. We are not going to be talking about ranking, like, Lois Lane's or Superman's or anything like that, or, you know, the MCU. I mean, the MCU might come up in this discussion, but we are going to be talking about the MonsterVerse as a whole and ranking the MonsterVerse now that Pat has seen Godzilla vs. Kong. And you want to show them your shirt?
Yep, Team Kong.
That is his makeshift homemade Team Kong shirt.
Yeah,
So,
a friend of mine took a stencil of King Kong on the Empire State Building and just
he would be swatting at planes.
Team Kong for life. The back of my shirt says Skull Island Survivor. Where's your Team Godzilla shirt?
It's in the wash.
Oh, Godzilla didn't show up for this fight, huh? He's scared.
So we're gonna get right to it. What are your thoughts on the MonsterVerse?
As a whole, and people are free to disagree with me. DCEU fans are free to disagree with me.
Especially after today's news.
Dark Universe fans, if they exist, can try to disagree with me. But the MonsterVerse, when it comes down to it, is probably the second most cohesive cinematic universe after, obviously, the MCU.
You mean the Dark Universe that only has the Mummy doesn't count?
Doesn't count. But like the MonsterVerse is it's been like fairly consistent, at least with what it's trying to do. Yeah. It's been interesting. There's been different movies with different like filmmakers that are like able to show off those filmmakers' perspectives on these creatures.
That's what I love about all four of these films, that all four of them are actually directed by a different person. Like, yeah. 2014 Godzilla is Gareth Edwards. No, is it Gareth Edwards?
Gareth Edwards is, yeah.
Okay, because there's a Gareth Evans, too. And
it's Edwards.
I think he's the dude that did The Raid.
Yeah, it's the Rogue One guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla 2014. God, I hate how many Godzilla movies there are, because now we have to refer to them as Godzilla 98 and Godzilla.
No, you hate the Godzilla movies, is what I'm hearing.
So, yeah, you got Gareth Edwards directing Godzilla 2014. Then you had Jordan Vogt Roberts direct Kong Skull Island in 2017. Then Michael Dougherty, who is a very underrated filmmaker, I think, because he's Krampus, Trick or Treat. I think he had a hand in the early X-Men movies as well.
Yeah, he was a writer,
yeah. Yep, Superman Returns as well.
Can't always win.
Yeah, can't always win. And then for Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, we got Adam Wingard directing, who has also done some great stuff like The Guest, You're Next, some great horror movies. Is he doing with a He-Man or Thundercats? He's doing one of the two. He's doing one of them.
Yeah, I don't know which. But cool.
I love it. Why are they doing Thundercats?
I don't know. And I'm excited. It's going to be terrifying, probably.
Yeah. Cast Billy Zane. That's something Billy Zane would make. But yeah, any other thoughts on the Monster Universe itself?
As a whole, I mean, I just think, they're not like Academy Award winning Best Pictures. None of these are going to win like Best Screenplay or best like anything really. Like besides maybe special effects.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they could get nominated for special effects.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like, but
or like costume design or something. Or I mean, but what costumes are there? I mean, they're literally just in regular everyday Joe Schmo. I mean, I guess the military costumes, but
sure. But yeah, like I mean, they're not like great films, but they are super fun films. That's all I care about.
You know what kind of sucks though? I feel like a lot of people like don't treat them as fun films because I feel like the hype and anticipation for Godzilla 2014 was just so out of this world. Yep. And it just built up everything to make everybody feel like it was going to be like a great like cinematic like experience or something like that.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, I do think a lot of people like that movie when Godzilla's in it, and then he's not in Godzilla 2014 all that much. But honestly, as as somebody who really likes Godzilla 2014, I like that about it because I feel like it's attributing the original Godzilla that came out 60 years beforehand. But we can get into it more when we talk about the movies. But yeah, I do think that in a way, Godzilla 2014 did overhype a little bit of this.
It's very different compared to the rest of the MonsterVerse as well.
Yeah.
It's a much more serious film. Like,
yeah, because I was gonna say, I feel like they were going for a more like, especially after Godzilla '98 and how people hated Godzilla '98, and they basically made him a dinosaur from Jurassic Park. It was basically it was discount the Lost World.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with that movie, and I mean, you grew up with it too, right?
Didn't you just watch it recently with your brother?
I did watch it recently because my brother was like, let's watch a bad movie, so we watched Godzilla '98.
Dude, I cannot believe I cannot believe that movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I hadn't seen that movie since probably last time I watched it was probably like 2006, maybe. So like back then I was still like, yeah, this is pretty cool, like. But like no, watching it now, like it drags too. Like once you get to like the Madison Square Garden and there's like all the baby like raptor Godzillas, I'm like, oh come on. Like what and that's the thing too. I mean, Toho, who does the Godzilla stuff in Japan, they pretty much wrote off that movie and they don't consider that Godzilla to be Godzilla. They just call him Zilla.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, because he's like this little lanky dinosaur thing.
I think Godzilla in that is a female too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's female, if it's just he doesn't have a gender, or he's both. If he can give birth, I don't know, but
yeah, who knows?
It's interesting.
I kind of want to rewatch that now just to see how bad it is because I don't remember how bad it is, but I remember watching it growing up and even being like, it's not good.
Alex, all you need to know is that's a lot of fish.
Yeah,
a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish.
But yeah, so that was the first attempt by U.S. studio to do a Godzilla movie, because otherwise
they had a shitty writer and a shitty director. Because I mean, you're gonna hire Roland Emmerich to do a Godzilla movie.
Like, I get the idea of doing that because they go, oh, he's the disaster guy. He can make like cities be destroyed. Yeah. Like so, like sure, but unfortunately, it wasn't good. No. It was not good at all. And
like a lot of his movies, it wasn't good.
So rolling into the first movie here in the MonsterVerse from that, years later, like over a decade later, finally the U.S. studios were making another Godzilla movie. Like Toho was like, okay, like you can try again, essentially. And like they did a much better job. I mean, I don't think Godzilla 2014 is a perfect movie.
No, I don't either.
I think it's a very interesting movie. I think it's dark and disturbing, and I like my favorite thing about it is the scope of it. Yeah. It just feels big.
It's
like
massive.
It feels like there's that great shot where they're in like, I think it's showing it from the perspective of like people in an airport, and then you see Godzilla's like foot in front of them.
That's when that's when Kick-Ass is in Hawaii. See, I don't even remember the actor's name or his
name is Aaron Taylor Johnson, famous for playing Quicksilver that one time.
I just remember he's on like the monorail in like Hawaii, and then all of a sudden you just hear boom, boom, and he just goes.
That was impressive. You should dub it over though.
Wait, what?
In editing, you gotta dub that over.
Oh yeah, I will.
I mean, it's pretty good, but it's as good as you could do. A human being could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Dude,
it's a movie I enjoy, but it's not one that I rush to watch.
You enjoy it, Mr. 2 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd?
Oh shit, I feel called out. Listen, I haven't updated that letterbox in like 2 years. Okay, I rewatched Godzilla. I will say this now. I'm gonna go on my letterbox and change it. I would give Godzilla 2014 probably like a 3.5.
Yeah, I think I have it at a 4.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
It's my favorite of the monster universe, just because I don't think we really knew like what was going to come of this at the time.
No, they didn't announce that stuff.
I think the only thing that was a sure bet was that if it was successful, it was at least going to get a trilogy. Maybe not like a shared universe with King Kong or any of the other monsters, but I think at least I think we knew it was going to get a trilogy if it was successful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they didn't announce like the further plans like till later on, and there was even I think there was some like rights problems for a little bit of like getting the rights to like or permission to use like Ghidorah and Mothra.
Yeah, because what do you call it? King of the Monsters was supposed to come out in either 2017 or 2018, and it kept getting delayed. And it finally came out in 2019, so there's a 5-year gap in between Godzilla, like Hollywood Godzilla movies.
And isn't King Kong? Isn't that like technically it's a different studio doing it, right? Like it's
still Universal? Warner Brothers and Legendary.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's just interesting, and that first Godzilla, the biggest complaint, like the most common complaint about that movie, and it's an understandable one, is there's not enough Godzilla. Like
I'm fine with it though.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And I remember the last time I rewatched it, I said to myself, there's a lot more Godzilla in this than A, I remember, and B, I think people are actually remembering themselves. Because, yeah, sure, like, I love the build-up to Godzilla, and I actually love the fact that movie creates, like, its own monsters for him to fight. Even though they do look like the Cloverfield monster.
The Mutos.
Yeah. And there's that one that's pregnant, and there's that really stupid moment where they French kiss.
Yeah, that was romantic. That was the frog people reuniting in Mandalorian. It's like, give me these weird creatures that are in love.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there was enough different, like, people will complain that they look like they look like Clovey from Cloverfield.
I mean, they do. There's that like type of.
I think there's enough different about them though, and like the fact that I love that like whole plot twist where they think it's one monster, and then all of a sudden they get like another like EMP, and it's like, holy shit, there's another monster. So it's two monsters, it's two Mutos that Godzilla has to fight, and I get it, like the creature design's a little bit generic. But I feel like it works for the movie, especially for a first movie in like a trilogy, which we thought it was going to be at the time, or a cinematic universe. I think you need to start small scale like that. Yeah. But I also love the fact that they just created their own monsters. Like they didn't use previously established Godzilla monsters. I like the idea that Godzilla like has to fight monsters that he hasn't like necessarily come into contact with before, and that Godzilla is like this enormous, gigantic new thing that has been around for the longest time, because if I remember correctly, and I think that this is also in the original 1954 Toho Godzilla as well, that Godzilla was created from the nuclear bomb. So the fact that he's been around for this long, and it seems like he's been dormant for this long.
Right.
Yeah, I think is a very interesting route to take Godzilla, and I do think with Godzilla in this movie, people, I understand Godzilla as a character compared to Kong, and this is where I give Kong props. Kong is like Kong because he's a gorilla. Like I understand that like the whole concept is that humans evolved from apes, and that Godzilla has more like human like. I guess personality, a more human-like personality, I guess. But I think people miss the point in Godzilla 2014 where they actually do try and humanize Godzilla for a good majority of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like the moment when he's Aaron Taylor Johnson's on the ground, like on the streets, and him and Godzilla have like that quiet moment where he like sees him.
Yeah,
like,
and
close up,
and his face gets covered by the dust cloud.
Yeah, like that was cool. Like the visuals of this movie are amazing. I think this is. The way they decided to shoot every monster from like the ground, makes them all feel really big. Like, and like my like thing with this movie is, I think a lot of people's too. Bryan Cranston, obviously an amazing actor, and I think you had him, and they really make you care about him in the first like.
He should have been in the whole movie.
Absolutely, like I think the whole family dynamic would have been better. Like, I mean, it's interesting that you follow the one family throughout, even though they keep putting Aaron Taylor Johnson into all these situations where it's like, oh, he's in Hawaii, here are the monsters.
And it's so weird too, because it's like he's married to Elizabeth Olsen, and there's Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah, but like even just him like walking by the other soldiers, and he's like, oh, can I like hitch a ride with you guys? And it's like, oh yeah, we need a bomb expert.
Soldier
That's great. I happen to be a bomb expert.
Yeah, the military guys are really generic. I guess as a whole, since this movie does have like a lot of the military guys, like, I mean, I feel like in movies like this, like obviously the Michael Bay Transformers movies did the military, and which you didn't need after the first
military.
Movie. What?
The Michael Bay Transformers did the military? There was a lot of military in those movies? I didn't notice the 50 million helicopters in the sunset shots.
Dude, that one guy in the second one who just shows up with like a piece of paper in every scene. It's like, you can't be here. I have right. Here's the piece of paper. Now get out of my sight.
Listen, I don't want to hear any slander towards Josh Duhamel or Tyrese Gibson.
No, I'm just saying though, like for something like that, I think you still could have had that element, but like lessen it in the sequels. Kind of like Planet of the Apes did, where Planet of the Apes, this new trilogy for Planet of the Apes, like the first one, the humans were an essential part of the movie, where Dawn of the Planet of the Apes felt like it was a good 50-50 balance. Yeah. And then War for the Planet of the Apes was more about the apes than the humans. And I think Transformers should have went down that route. And I think that I feel like now with the monster universe, I don't really know if that would work, because these are monsters that don't talk. So you have to find a way to populate the rest of the movie with something.
I don't know. One of those monsters is smart enough to sign language now. So, I think Kong could hold his own.
You know what? I'll say this. I'll be on Team Kong when King Kong goes and gets Donkey, Diddy, Cranky, Funky, all the Kongs.
Chunky, Lanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to your point, I mean, I think they are kind of moving in that direction of like in Godzilla vs. Kong, just to jump ahead a little bit, the humans were there and stuff, and they played like a role, but I felt like there was more time with like just Kong like wandering around Hollow Earth and like, so maybe eventually they'll transition to like.
I feel it would work better for a Kong movie if they can find more ways to humanize Godzilla. This is where I give Kong the benefit of a doubt a little bit. When it comes to fighting skills, no, Godzilla's kicking his ass.
No.
Hey, Kong gets his ass kicked by Godzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong. There's a winner, you little bitch boy. I mean, if they could find ways to humanize Godzilla like they did in 2014, shut up, get that thing out of my face. I'll be down for them. Like maybe there's like ways Godzilla communicates with the other monsters or something. But
and just roar at them like he always does.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: is one of your problems with this movie all the teasing that it does?
Not really. I don't have a big problem with like that Godzilla not showing up that much, and even like the like moments where you do see him, and then like the doors close or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
or the going back to the whole Hawaii sequence, like he shows up, and then the Mudos are there too, and then you think they're gonna throw down, and then all of a sudden it's like. This is a special report. Hawaii has just been destroyed.
I mean, yeah, it's a little annoying for sure. Like it gets you all hyped up, and then it's like,
But see, I think you need some teasing as long as there's good payoff.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think the payoff at the end of that is just it's perfect, because for the first half of the end fight where he's fighting both Mudos, he doesn't have his radiation breath. Dude, the moment he decapitates that one Mudo with his radiation fire breath, fucking amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla's cool. I don't want people to think I hate Godzilla. I like Godzilla. I think, especially this MonsterVerse Godzilla, he's chunky. He's got some bulk. He's kicking ass.
In the famous words of Anakin Skywalker,
liar! Well, if you're not with me, you're my enemy. But like, here's the thing. I just like Kong more. That's all. Because King Kong is an awesome ape.
He's an awesome ape, but he wasn't in that good of a movie in this universe, unfortunately.
We about to fight. We about to fight. You want to throw it up? Let them fight.
Our arrows will block out the sun.
Yeah, so Godzilla 2014, like, I like it. It's a good movie. It's definitely, as in the words of George Lucas, more intense than some of the other ones. But it takes itself more seriously. But I think it's a good movie. I just wish Bryan Cranston was there. I wish we did have a little bit more Godzilla, maybe.
He should have been in the movie for the whole thing.
Even a bit more focus on Ken Watanabe's character, I think, would
be
good,
dude.
too.
I was gonna mention him before we actually moved on, like, because I really like Dr. Serizawa, especially in Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely needed more of him and Sally Hawkins' character. I forget her name.
Yeah, she got completely underutilized.
Yeah. I feel like all the interesting humans, that's my problem here, is that it's not just Bryan Cranston. Like, you have Bryan Cranston, who is the most interesting character, and the reason you latch onto him is because he literally loses his wife in like a power plant.
That first like 15 minutes is intense.
It's amazing. Yeah. And like I love how they connect that to like the actual Mutos. Like, that's how the Mutos, like, exist. So it's, like, it's kind of harkening back to how Godzilla came into existence, where it's like, oh, humanity's, like, own greed with, like, Godzilla with the nuclear bomb. And now we get these two new monsters with the nuclear power plant.
In this version, it seems like in the MonsterVerse, like, Godzilla wasn't so much created with the nuclear bomb as much as he was, like, awakened. Because he has, like, the whole, like, underwater palace and stuff.
Yeah.
Like... So,
which I thought was hollow when they went there in Godzilla vs. Kong. I remember thinking to myself, is Godzilla's like resting place Hollow Earth?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's like right outside of it. Maybe it seemed like really deep in the water, but
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But yeah, I definitely think we needed Bryan Cranston for the whole movie. The more interesting humans like Ken Watanabe and Sally Hawkins just weren't in it enough, and I think we needed more of them. Less focus on Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. I still think they were way too young to have a kid.
You can be pretty young and have a kid.
I know.
But I just think it's weird that they're siblings in my eyes because of the MCU.
I know. And then, but I mean, the rest of the movie, like, I'm fine with Godzilla's screen time. I'm fine with all the teasing. Although there is a couple moments where it's like, come on, just let them fight. But the payoff is worth it. Yeah. What do you think of them actually making Godzilla the good guy, like the savior of humanity? Because in the original Godzilla movie, he's actually bad.
Sure, but then you got like the 15, 17, 30 other Godzilla where he like fights bad monsters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's been done before, but like I think it was cool to focus on that rather than like, for instance, the '98 Godzilla movie where it was just him fighting helicopters for like or jets for like the whole movie.
Discount King Kong.
Yeah.
So that's our discussion on 2014 Godzilla. Let's move on to the next one in the MonsterVerse, Kong Skull Island, where Tom Hiddleston is just playing Tom Hiddleston, and
How dare you? Shut up.
And Brie Larson is just there to be a pretty face and take pictures.
No, okay, listen up. I came around on this movie. At first, I was like, okay, it's fine. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. I am a devout follower of the 2005 King Kong movie. I adore Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's an amazing,
this
underrated...
movie holds no candle to that.
Okay,
thing.
Yeah, but it's trying to do something different, okay? I love that movie, and that's why mostly I'm Team Kong, is because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And even though that's separate from the MonsterVerse Kong, I like that the MonsterVerse Kong went in a more fun, less like tragic direction. They didn't do the typical like, oh, we found Godzilla, we found King Kong, and we brought him back to New York, and he climbed the Empire State Building, and he got shot. It's like, no, they're like, no, he's on Skull Island, and he's fighting skull crawler weird monsters. And I'm like, hell yeah, like he doesn't go get shot by airplanes. He's alive. He's gonna go fight Godzilla. like I like that they did that.
You mean you liked all the 70s like wartime?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. The soundtrack to this movie's amazing, first of all. The style. This movie's got style. It's like super stylized, really cool looking. It looks like it's like Apocalypse Now, but then there's a giant gorilla smashing helicopters.
Wait, hold on. I'm thinking about it now. Is the director of this movie the director of Fallen Kingdom?
I don't know.
I gotta IMDb that real quick.
I don't think so.
Because Colin Trevorrow didn't direct Fallen Kingdom.
No, but I don't think this is that guy, though.
Oh, no, it's not. I just remembered his name as I was Googling it. Jordan Vogt Roberts is the director for this one. J.A. Bayona is, what do you call it?
I mean, it's got, like, it's super stylized. I love, the look of it. I just think it's a fun movie. I think it knows it's, like, silly and it relishes the, like, silliness. And it's like, we're going to just go crazy. Like, we're going to have, like, things that shouldn't work. Like when they meet the survivor of World War II, like, stranded
John C. Reilly?
John C. Reilly. And he's actually hilarious in this movie. And he's got a heartwarming backstory.
He's the best part, I'll say that. You know who's not good in this movie? Who's always in, like, these types of movies? Toby Kebbell.
Okay, yeah, Toby Kebbell needs a different agent. But that's not because this movie's bad. It's because he's not, like, his character isn't good in this movie, and then he dies, and that's
Nor is Samuel L. Jackson's.
Okay, hold on. Toby Kebbell also played Kong, so let's give him some props. He did the motion capture for Kong. He also played an ape before when he played Koba. And like he was amazing. He's great at playing apes. Not Andy Serkis good, who also played an ape in Planet of the Apes and played King Kong in 2005, but he's pretty good. Yeah. If you can't afford Andy Serkis, just call up Toby Kebbell. We need an ape. But like I just think this movie's fun. I think it's the most fun, maybe except Godzilla vs. Kong, but it's like I watched this on the projector outside this year. Like the first one of the summer. And dude, it was so fun. I hadn't seen it since theaters, but I'm like, even the characters.
I never saw this in theaters.
The characters are one note, like, sure. Like, they're all archetypes. They're all like, you got the cool, rugged tracker guy with Tom Hiddleston. You got the war photographer who doesn't like taking pictures of war. And, like, she wants to see the beauty in things. And then you got, like, a vengeful general guy, like Samuel Jackson in this movie. By the way, so many shots in this movie should be on a fucking museum wall because they're beautiful. Samuel Jackson looking through the fire at Kong's face right in front of him is so good. Like, it's just so cool looking. And the action is amazing. Like, the weird stylized running through green smoke with katana and smoke masks. Like,
well, I'll say this. The opening scene's okay.
How dare you? It's a good, fun movie. Like it's not trying.
Like I said, I didn't see this in theaters, but like I remember blind buying this on Blu-ray. The first time I watched it on Blu-ray, I was like, like not as good as Godzilla, like nowhere near as good as Godzilla.
It's better. Oh, let's fight about that.
No, it's like, not.
Godzilla's a cool movie and stuff, but you know what? I like to have more fun than Aaron Taylor Johnson running around for hours.
Yeah, but I like monsters that can actually breathe fire out of their mouths.
Well, let me ask you this. Can Godzilla take a tree branch, rip off a tree trunk, rip all the branches off, and then use that tree trunk as a baseball bat to fuck up some skull crawlers?
He could stomp on Kong's little itty bitty foot, and Kong would be like, ah!
That's not how it went in the fight, though. That's not how it went.
No, I mean Kong. Yeah, I mean Godzilla has the brain the size of a pea, but he'll definitely beat Kong's ass. See, I don't know what to say about this movie because I don't remember it. Like it's like I've seen it 2 or 3 times. Every time I do the MonsterVerse, I watch it, but like I don't remember it other than I almost said Godzilla. Other than Samuel L. Jackson just being like the typical like army general who lost like people in the war, and now he's blaming like nature and this island on that, and John C. Reilly's the best part, but like I don't want to follow around Tom Hiddleston and then Brie Larson just go running and then
Listen, Samuel Jackson was a soldier after Vietnam who didn't want the war to end. He didn't know what to do with his life. So he made an enemy of Kong because he needed a war.
Let me ask you this, okay? Mm-hmm. I have nothing to say about that. Because, again, I don't remember this movie. But let me ask you this, though. There is a theory out there that Tom Hiddleston's character is Charles Dance in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Do you buy that?
No.
Yeah. There's too much time there's too much of a time gap. Like, this is in the 70s. Godzilla vs. Kong is in 2019.
I just don't feel like the personality-wise they're the same. Like, I just don't see it.
Oh, you don't see Tom Hiddleston getting killed on the shitter?
No. No, but I mean, another thing with this movie that I think is really good is just like they make you like you're invested just enough in the characters. Like you don't care about them per se, but like, dude, please tell me you remember that this movie has one of the best deaths in film history.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I remember
dude,
that.
When he goes up to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, I remember.
And he has the grenades. And it's like, oh, he's gonna eat me, and then it's like, nope, bitch, and he slaps him. And then he blows up. It's messed up, but it's so good.
I remember stuff like that. I just don't remember like
inventive things. When the one eats the camera and the camera flash is going off in its belly, like, come on, so good.
I just remember kind of being like bored during the action sequences. I don't know what it was.
I don't know, man.
Anytime Kong is on screen is fun, but like there's only so much like him versus Skullcrawlers that I can take.
I know
they brought him back in Godzilla versus Kong briefly, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, but I can't convince you. But I mean, it's not King Kong 2005 good, but I think it's a fun movie. Like I think it's just a fun monster movie, and it knows what it is, and it's just, you know, I think it's a fun time.
Where is this on Letterboxd, huh? Is it still at a 2 out of 5?
Is it? I would put it, you know what? I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
How dare you? So obviously this movie's not very memorable to me. This is my least favorite of the entire MonsterVerse.
How dare you?
Yeah. all the Godzilla movies are above it. But moving on to bigger and better things, because this movie is just won't be better than anything in this MonsterVerse. We have 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters. Your thoughts on that?
It's a fun movie. I think it's a love letter to the old Godzilla movies. Like, you can tell that Michael Dougherty is a big fan of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many, like, the fact they brought in, like, obviously Mothra and King Ghidorah and
Ghidorah, the visuals on Ghidorah were fucking amazing.
I thought all the monsters looked amazing. Like, they just all looked...
I remember seeing that. I was like, that is more evil, 3-headed Smaug right there.
Yeah, like, they did just a good job. Like, the visuals in some parts of this movie are beautiful.
When Rodan first shows up and he's, like, flying... I don't know what city it is, but he's, like, flying through the city, and there's, like, that, like, sweeping shot of, like, you see, like... It's, like, kind of like... This is gonna sound weird, but it's like they're like filming like his belly, but it's like a sweeping shot like as he's flying through the air, like in the city. I'm like that. It's that shot from the trailer. It's amazing. And then Ghidorah going up to the hill with like the cross, and then the lightning.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, dude. It's just I think this movie does the best job at making you feel the sense of awe when you see the monsters. Yeah. Like where it's like, whoa, these things are like otherworldly, like beyond us, you know, like
dude, and then at the end, even at the beginning too, I think, but at the end when Godzilla beats both and Mothra, because Mothra helps him, beats both Rodan and Ghidorah, and he becomes king of the monsters. I love like seeing all the other monsters like Mammoth. You have another Muto that's there somehow.
Yep.
I just I love the look of all of those monsters. Like that was how I knew that it was like, holy shit, like these things exist. This is like a giant, massive world that these monsters exist in. It was almost like as if it was on the same scale of the 2014 Godzilla, but because those monsters populated that, we knew that these monsters were in this movie, like it just made the world of Godzilla so much bigger. Like the scale went from what it was in Godzilla 2014 to something even bigger.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's a beautiful looking movie. I do think, some of the human stuff is.
I think we're on the same boat on this one.
Yeah, I hate Vera Farmiga's character in this movie.
Okay, here's my thing with this. I think you have some really great monster action. Like the first fight between Godzilla and King Ghidorah in like Antarctica is great, but then in between everything, you kind of balance it out with, oh, here's what Monarch's doing. Oh, here's this thing called the Orca, not an orca whale, but like this orca machine that can like communicate with the monsters. It's like, I don't care about that. Oh, here's Vera Farmiga. Here's Millie Bobby Brown. Here's Kyle Chandler, which, by the way, I'll talk about it when we get to Godzilla vs. Kong. Millie Bobby Brown, she need to go.
Oh man, that's a legend you're talking about.
I don't mind her in this. I didn't like her in Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't mind her in this one. But like Godzilla vs. Kong, I was like watching. I was like, yeah, you need to go.
You know what Kyle Chandler was also in?
King Kong.
2005.
That dude's in everything.
Oh yeah, he is Super 8.
I think that's the first time I ever saw him was Super 8.
Yeah, King Kong for me.
Yeah, I was like, who's this like random like Southern dude just walking around being like, don't go on a date with my daughter, or something like that. I forget.
It wasn't his daughter. It was the other guy's daughter.
The other guy's daughter that had weird hair. I remember. But yeah, no, that's my whole thing. Like, this one definitely ups the ante with Godzilla's screen time because he's in it a lot more. He's still not in it like, it's 2 hours and 12 minutes. He's not in it a lot.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because he's boring to have on the screen for too long. Because he doesn't emote.
Yeah, well, Kong wasn't in Skull Island all that much.
He was in it more than that. We saw his bathing routine and him eating squids and shit.
Typical monkey business stuff, man.
Yeah, stuff that is cute to watch.
But for anybody who complained in Godzilla 2014 that said, oh, Godzilla wasn't in it that much, if you're watching this for the first time, you will be satisfied with Godzilla's screen time in this because he is in it more. I would say he's probably in it a good 20, 25 minutes, half hour.
Definitely more. For
sure.
It's
just, but as I was saying before, it's just all the stuff in between, like the Godzilla stuff and the fights with Rodan and King Ghidorah. All of that just gets mixed up with the Monarch stuff, and then there's the Orca stuff and the Vera Farmiga stuff. That's nothing with Vera Farmiga or that Orca machine or the actual story here. Like, I get it. We're not watching these movies for story, but you have to have some semblance of a story.
This is giving me PTSD here. King of Monsters review. We're gonna get attacked. Oh God!
You're making a movie that's populated with human characters. Like, you have to have characters at least somewhat that I care about and somewhat of a story if you're doing this. You can't use the blueprint of the Michael Bay Transformers where it's like you can just populate them with people and their cardboard cutouts and there's no story. Like, that's my big problem with Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, I'm not asking for like a groundbreaking, sweeping, epic story, but I needed a little bit of something more than what we got. Like, just a little bit.
But you had Tywin Lannister.
Well, I mean, Fenway Park got destroyed. You probably like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, I mean, Godzilla just turning into like a Super Saiyan at the end was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Dude, I remember being disappointed for one reason. Because here's why. I literally thought he was going to fight Rodan, Ghidorah, and Mothra. I had no idea Mothra was going to come in and help him.
You didn't know Mothra was his queen?
No, I thought he was going to fight all three of them. I'm not well versed in Godzilla lore, But I know like a lot of the monsters, and I was like, oh hey, Mothra, who looked like a giant bumblebee in the old ones. But I was like, oh, she's not gonna fight him. Okay, she's gonna help him. I did like that aspect. How it felt like more of a fair fight this time. Although, is it really fair because Ghidorah has 3 heads?
Speaking of those 3 heads, the best head is definitely the farthest one on his left, who is Kevin. And Kevin is the greatest thing in all creation because you'll notice many times in this movie that head is curious and weird and intentionally is like a little more like gentle, and then the other heads have to like be like, wake the fuck up, and it's amazing. And dude, people all the fandom calls him Kevin, and I love Kevin. He's the best,
dude. But like we said, dude, like the visuals in this movie, it's amazing. Like what they did with like just the way the scenes looked. The monsters especially, like you made me believe Ghidorah could exist in real life because of how like realistic it looked.
Yeah, they did a great job with the monsters. I think they're the highlight of the movie by far, which I think is what you should have in a Godzilla movie. I think the monsters should be by far the best part.
And like I understand that the first one held back a little bit on the fights because it was teasing for that big payoff, but this one just goes right for it. Like you have that fight in Antarctica, then Godzilla has to go do some nappy time in his little hole underneath the sea. Were you a fan of that where Serizawa had to go back down into the ocean and like?
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, that I like Serizawa because I love Serizawa is actually one of the better characters. So like when that happens and he dies, I was like, damn it, no more Ken Watanabe.
I know, but it was such a good death. Like I liked him having like I read online, which I mean I thought was just really cool. Is that's the first time in any Godzilla movie that a human has like directly touched Godzilla.
Oh wow.
So when he touches him and he's like goodbye old friend or whatever, I'm like
and that's what I love. Like I love the human and like Godzilla connection like that. How like Godzilla like sure he's this giant ass monster, and I get he's in a weak state at that point.
Yeah.
But at the same time he has like this like somehow in his brain that's the size of a pea, he has this deep human connection, and he knows exactly like how the humans are feeling too about him. And
I don't think he gives a shit about Millie Bobby Brown.
No, he doesn't. No, but especially since he destroys all of Boston at the end.
Yeah, but Vera Farmiga, real quick, her character, just the twist that she is like the one that's unleashing the monsters or the Titans as they call them, like. Just because I want to make the world a better place. So we're going to like give it back to the monsters and they're going to kill us all, but then the world will be better. I'm like, maybe, sure, but you sound nuts.
Yeah, no. Okay, let me ask you this, because every time I watch it, the moment it happens, I always forget if it happens. Does she die?
Yes.
Okay.
She gets hit by like Ghidorah's blast.
I remember every time I watch this movie, I watch her death scene, and then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, did Vera Farmiga die in this?
She's driving in like a Jeep with the orca, I think, and then she gets shot.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's not a memorable death, you know.
I think it's a fun movie. I think I appreciate how much focus they put on the monsters. I think it's just like those are by far.
It got hammered by critics though.
Yeah, critics, and also it didn't do well at the box office. But
yeah,
it is what it is. You know, Michael Dougherty always gets flack, but I think he's actually a really fun director who knows what he's trying to do, which I think a lot of times with Krampus too, I feel like people were expecting something that the movie was never supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now we move on to 2021 Godzilla vs. Kong, released on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously. The highest grossing movie of the pandemic. Movie theaters are saved. Thank you, Godzilla. Thank you, I guess, Kong. But you didn't do anything in this movie.
Didn't do anything? He saved Godzilla's ass!
After Godzilla gave him 2 heart attacks, and then you had to have these futuristic, militaristic vehicles come and give Kong an adrenaline shot.
I'm sorry, Kong's friends show up, okay? Godzilla has his posse of monsters. Where the fuck are they? They're like, no, fuck you, Godzilla. We're not helping you. Well, King Kong's like, yeah, bros, like, his like human friends are like, we got your back, Kong. We love you. We will bring you back to life.
Kong cannot even beat Godzilla with his bare hands. He has to go to Hollow Earth and get a weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not all of us have fucking atomic breath. We have to make it even somehow. Okay, like even with atomic breath, Kong was kicking his ass.
No.
Yes. Okay. Listen, King Kong in this movie. I like how Adam Wingard himself said it. Godzilla won the fight. Sure, he won the fight. He beat Kong.
Both rounds.
Both rounds, sure. But who won the movie, according to Adam Wingard? King Kong, motherfuckers. Because he came in and he saved Godzilla's ass, and then he killed Mechagodzilla.
Here's my problem with this movie. It was way too obvious from the trailer that Mechagodzilla was in it. Like they tried to hide it so much.
This is Casey's Team Kong shirt.
That was my problem with the trailer. They tried to hide the fact that Mechagodzilla. What?
A cat.
Oh. What is the cat gonna beat Godzilla too?
The cat could whoop Godzilla's ass. But no, okay. So my experience watching this movie, we put it on the projector on HBO Max outside. We got a group of friends together. Some of them were Team Godzilla. Some of them were Team Kong. We all made shirts, and then we all sat, to watch it outside on the projector. And not even joking, there was like 6 or 7 of us. The Team Godzilla people all sat together on one side. The Team Kong people all sat together on the other side. And anytime like a punch happened, we would either be like, yeah, or then Godzilla would hit back, and they would have nothing. Because there's no cool way to chant for Godzilla. You can't do that. You're going to go, ah!
You know how you can chant for Godzilla?
Can you imagine? There's like 3 or 4 people all just doing that. But no, it was amazing. That made it like the movie. Okay, obviously it's not like
this is my second favorite. This is my second favorite of the MonsterVerse.
Like it's a fun movie. Like it's not trying. It knows what it is.
Exactly.
It knows exactly.
That's the thing. Everybody's just like, oh my god, like this is just like made for kids. I'm like, yeah, a monster movie with a giant fucking robot that's destroying a city is obviously going to have elements for kids in it.
Oh yeah, and I mean even like the opening credits, which by the way, I think all these movies they have similar opening credits, like where they're like, oh, let's show clips from all these different things and Monarch blurred out things, and like the consistency's cool. But this one in particular, like they knew what it is to the point where the opening credits for this movie are just like scorecards of like, here's Godzilla's wings, and here's King Kong's wings, and here's their stats, and now they're about to fight. And I'm like, this is like Fight Night, okay? This is like
remake Fight Night Round 3 with Godzilla and Kong.
It was awesome, man. Like it was just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying before, like I kind of wish that they didn't. I kind of wish that they either kept Mechagodzilla a secret, and then that was just revealed in the movie, because Adam Wingard revealed like a toy, and I was just like, yeah, Mechagodzilla is obviously in the movie, but it was way too obvious too in that shot in the trailer where you see the
people, alleyway.
Yeah, the people running. I'm like, and it's like, oh my god, it's Godzilla evil. I'm like, guys, it's Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, you can see like the red glows or whatever, and I was like, that doesn't look like Godzilla.
But I do. Okay, there are certain story beats that I like. Like I like the fact that like Godzilla comes back out of a slumber because he sees what is that research facility, Apex,
yeah, cybernetics.
They're doing like experiments, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because it was a month ago that I saw it. He attacks the facility, and they think that Godzilla has just gone like nuts.
Yeah, he's attacking people.
Yeah, when he really hasn't. But what they're secretly doing is that Monarch has taken the skull of King Ghidorah because Godzilla decapitated one of his heads.
You know which head? Our boy Kevin. Our boy Kevin. He's Mechagodzilla.
And so now they're doing like I hated the whole thing too, where like Serizawa's son was part of the experiment.
Yeah. Okay. So I literally Googled because they called him Serizawa, and I'm like, huh? And then I went, like when they called him that, I'm like, okay, so he must be related to him. And then I waited the whole movie, and I'm like, are they ever gonna explain? And they never talk about it.
No, they never.
I looked it up, and Adam Wingard said, yeah, he's Serizawa's son, but we didn't have enough time to like establish that. I'm like, yeah, you did. The movie's like an hour and 45 minutes. Just take 10 minutes to like
exactly like
make him a character.
Well, that's my thing. Like Godzilla versus Godzilla King of the Monsters was like 2:10, and then it's just like we didn't have enough time. Yeah, if you didn't make the movie an hour and 53 minutes.
Then cut out the fact that he's called Serizawa in the movie. Like, take out that line. Because that made me go, what? And so I'm sitting there like, why is Serizawa's son making something that can, like, fight Godzilla, like, after his dad loved it? And there could be an interesting reason and an interesting story. And instead it's like...
Yeah, that was my whole thing with that. I did not like Serizawa, controlling Mechagodzilla with the whole...
Sitting inside of the skull as the concept.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome, though.
You know who else I hated in this movie? It's stupid little Deadpool 2 kid who was the bad guy.
You shut up about Fire Fist, okay? I love that kid.
I hate that
kid. He is Bell Snickle and the Christmas Chronicles too.
Yeah,
you shut your mouth.
I hate that kid.
That kid is the best.
No, he's not.
He is the best.
He's the most annoying part of anything he's in.
It was great. Okay, him and the podcaster guy. I thought.
Brian Tyree Henry is the podcaster guy. It was awesome. I love how he's just like sneaking around like Apex, and he used to work there, right?
He either used. I don't know if he used. I can't remember. He either did and then he didn't.
Yeah,
or he was faking.
I just remember Godzilla kicks Kong's ass twice, and then Mechagodzilla shows up at the end. Did you think that the Mechagodzilla fight was a little too short?
Maybe, but you know why it was so short? Because Kong kicked his ass out of nowhere, chopping him down. With that axe, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, but the fact he had to go to Hollow Earth. How did you feel? Speaking of Hollow Earth, how did you feel about Hollow Earth? Because I
thought it was cool. It was ridiculous. I thought it was
cool too. That's a point of that's a point of contention for a lot of people because they're like, wait a minute, like all these monsters come from like Hollow Earth. And
what I like about it is, which is a testament to, like we said, this being a pretty cohesive cinematic universe overall. They've been setting up Hollow Earth since Kong Skull Island. Like they talked about that theory in that movie, and they talked about that's where the skull crawlers come from, is like in the earth. And they mentioned it too in like King of Monsters, and like I thought it like was a nice payoff for like a few movies of build-up. And like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, what is that sunlight down there? Like, is it the Earth's core? Like, it's a ridiculous concept, but I thought it worked. It's cool visually, and I think it opened up. Like, I hope if they do another King Kong movie, I hope it's called like Kong Hollow Earth, and it's him like down in Hollow Earth fighting crazy shit.
You know what the proposed 5th movie is? Son of Kong.
Son of Kong. Yeah, which like this Kong is kind of old now, so like sure, find a son and like Hollow Earth, and then it could be like Logan, where he's running around Hollow Earth with a little kid Kong. And then he can get into arguments in the car.
Is that
you shut the fuck up?
Is that Kong gonna be called X-23?
Yeah, and it's going to be speaking Spanish to him, but actually know how to speak English the whole time. Except instead of English, it's going to be sign language.
Dude, no, and then Charles Dance can come back, and he'll be the Professor X guy.
Okay, yeah, where was Charles Dance? This movie would have been 50 times better with Charles Dance. Like, what? Why did that happen to him all the time? He got put into Dracula Untold, and he shows up at the end, and he's like, "Let the games begin," and then he never ever comes back ever. And then in Godzilla, King of Monsters, he's like, "Oh, long live the king," or whatever. And he's got like the Ghidorah skull, and then Apex just has the Ghidorah skull. I'm like, but Tywin. What about Tywin?
Tywin Lannister, man. Come on.
Lannister, mother.
Up to his old scheming antics.
He's the best. And I'm like, why would you take him out of this?
I know, dude. Dude, I remember, like, was there a post-credit scene in this or no? Do you remember?
I don't think so.
I don't think there was either, because I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to see if there's a post-credit scene, and maybe he'll pop up in the post-credit scene.
I think they weren't sure I think the future of the MonsterVerse hinged on if this movie was like, well like,
dude, honestly, you could look at this as a finale because I feel like the MonsterVerse has been building up to Godzilla versus Kong.
This was definitely like the Avengers of this universe.
Yeah, definitely.
No, not like as good, obviously, but like it's good for what this universe is. Like I thought it was a good payoff.
Yeah.
But like you were saying before, to get back to like the human characters in the MonsterVerse have always been like a point of contention.
Itza Gonzalez in this? I did not like Itza Gonzalez in this.
Oh yeah, well yeah, she was just there to be like the monkey. She kept calling him monkey, but her death, because she was so annoying, was satisfying.
Yes, it was.
But I just have to say, not to be biased, but Team Kong was superior to Team Godzilla. Because your team was Millie Bobby Brown, who you said you don't think should be in this movie, Fire Fist Ace, who you hate, and the other guy, the podcaster.
Is the awesome podcaster.
Yeah, he's fine. But we had the cute little girl with sign language who was amazing.
Yeah,
she was the best human character in the MonsterVerse.
Yes, she is. I agree with you on that.
Her relationship with Kong, I'm like, if you do a Hollow Earth, Son of Kong movie, whatever, and it's just Kong, her, and like Baby Kong, like I will love that movie. Like,
you know who else I didn't like in this movie that's on Team Kong? Rebecca Hall.
Oh yeah, I mean Rebecca Hall's fine. She always does. She's one of those actresses where I'm like, you're doing your job.
Yeah,
like you're fine.
You're the one that they needed for a serviceable actress. You know, you're serviceable.
Prestige, Iron Man 3. She's always just kind of, the town. Like, you're good.
Yeah.
But you're never like, she never stands out.
No.
And it wasn't the guy, that was Tarzan, right?
Yeah, that was Tarzan. Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah.
Makes sense. Tarzan. He's on Team Kong. Tarzan. We got Tarzan on our side with the apes.
He was a boring character too.
Sure, I agree. But we had the sign language girl who was better than everyone.
Gia?
She was the best.
Is her name Gia?
I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The human characters aren't super memorable in these movies, but
the best fight in this movie was when they were in like Neo Tokyo. Was it Tokyo?
I don't remember.
No.
Was it?
It was either Shanghai or Tokyo.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was cool. Like I liked.
Yeah, it had cool visuals. I like what Adam Wingard did with the camera in some of those parts where it was kind of like a first person perspective, where it seemed like the camera was attached to like Kong or Godzilla's arm.
Oh yeah, I loved when like they would like fall and the camera would like go forward them.
Dude, isn't there like a zero gravity thing in Hollow Earth where they like lose? Dude, I think that was a missed opportunity because I think that would have been a cool fight.
Oh yeah, dude, that would have been cool. Maybe they'll do that in the future movie with Hollow Earth. Like,
yeah,
that would have been cool. Yeah, good point.
Like just like them like floating all over. Like it would have been Inception, but in Hollow Earth
with Kong and Godzilla. But like, I think the fights, and I mean that's what people want to see in this movie. Like,
this movie delivers on the fights, definitely.
Yeah. I loved the first fight, even though Godzilla had such a home field advantage. It was a bunch of bullshit. Okay, trying to drown Kong and not succeeding, by the way. It should have been an easy win, but Kong did not let that happen. Kong, instead, was jumping from aircraft carrier to aircraft carrier. That was amazing.
Still got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, you know, but that was a wash. You knew he wasn't going to win that fight. He's in the middle of the ocean, and he's trying to save people at the same time. What a hero. Yeah. Godzilla couldn't give a shit about Millie Bobby Brown.
Well, I don't think
I
don't think anybody gave a shit about Millie Bobby Brown in this movie. Dude, even Kyle Chandler didn't care about her in this movie.
I couldn't believe he was like, that must have been an easy paycheck. He showed up for like 2 days of filming just to walk around and be like, where are you? Are you okay?
We're not going after Godzilla. Now stay here.
It was one of those things too where like now he's like the head of Monarch or whatever, but I'm like, would he be? Like he was like barely part of it in King of Monsters. He was like taking pictures of like wolves in the wilderness.
It's because he was Vera Farmiga's husband. That's
sure, the woman who put us all at risk and was a huge liability.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I just thought Mechagodzilla, like, I liked that he was in it. Like, they did the typical versus movie thing where it's like, save Martha, except not, so automatic superiority. But it's like, so you need Doomsday to show up, and then we'll fight Doomsday, and it's essentially that.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that was going to happen with this.
Oh yeah, because you couldn't have one of them.
That happens in any versus movie. I mean, dude, think about it. Batman versus Superman, they're gonna fight. Oh, they kind of a misunderstanding. The only good versus movie is or I shouldn't say it's good, but like the only like actual versus movie that we've gotten is Freddy versus Jason.
I mean, yeah, I mean they fight all the way to the end.
Ford versus Ferrari isn't even a versus movie.
But yeah, I mean, I liked Mechagodzilla's inclusion. I just thought I wasn't huge on the design.
You weren't? Okay, because I thought it was gonna look a lot worse.
He looked fine.
Yeah.
And he looked like they're kind of going for a more realistic look.
Yeah.
But I like how sleek, let's say the one from Ready Player One looked. You know?
Shit,
where it just looks cool. Like it looks real cool. And like that one looked more like the classic Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
But this one, he looked like kind of Decepticon-y.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, like it was fine. It's just I wasn't in love with the design.
When he showed it when they activated Mechagodzilla though, I expected him to look a lot worse.
Yeah. And
I thought it was gonna be something really corny as shit.
Yeah.
I hated the motivation for like bringing Mechagodzilla into here though. I forget what it was. Wasn't it like humanity's like greed or something? Like they'll like balance out like and then like it was like something like that.
It was like they wanted to like give humanity like power essentially. Like they wanted to control that kind of power.
Yeah.
But like all the kind of the stuff with like, oh, we need to get that energy from like Hollow Earth and that'll transmit here, and it's like, yeah, I guess.
yeah. Like basically what we're saying is don't go into these movies for story.
No. I mean, that's the thing. I go in for the fun. I go in for the Kong Skull Island greatness of monster fights.
I go in for the Godzilla greatness of monster fights.
Dude, but I mean,
three-headed monster.
I mean, I just people argued about like who won the fight. I'm like, it's pretty clear Godzilla won the fight, but like I knew that was gonna happen. Everyone logically he would win.
Yeah.
But Kong, man, he just had so much heart, and he gave it his all.
Dude, I'll say this: the fandom for these movies, they're pretty playful. Like all the bickering back and forth between the two teams, like on social media, that's got to be some of the most lighthearted like arguing I've ever seen. Like just fun arguing on social media between the two teams. It wasn't like Star Wars where it's like, oh, you like the Rise of Skywalker? You're gonna die tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, besides the people that swarmed you a couple years ago.
Guys, I know I said the plot wrong in my Godzilla King of the Monsters review. Okay, I know I did. Okay, it happens. I'm a human being.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we cleared that years-long feud.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I think this is honestly like it's my. I think Godzilla 2014 is a better movie, like more put together, better directed. It has characters that I somewhat care about, so that's why I like it the most out of the MonsterVerse. But if I had to pick one movie to watch in the Monster Universe for just pure entertainment, pure escapism, pure fun, it would be Godzilla vs. Kong. It's my second favorite of the universe.
Gotcha. So how would you rank it?
Godzilla 2014, Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Kong Skull Island's on its own little island.
My number one, Kong Skull Island.
How dare you?
My number two, Godzilla vs. Kong. My number three.
They're both tied.
There's just such different movies. I think I'd put Godzilla and then King of the Monsters.
Okay.
But I think I would rather watch King of Monsters.
Yeah.
But I think Godzilla's a better movie.
Yeah.
But I think King of Monsters is more fun. It's tough.
Yeah. At least they're mostly consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're tonally, some like the style's different sometimes and stuff, but like the general like feeling is like this feels like a pretty cohesive universe. Like it doesn't feel like the DCEU where it's like, are any of these actually even connected? Like, who cares? Like,
it doesn't feel like the Dark Universe. I only got one goddamn movie.
Yeah, which is probably a blessing. That Mummy movie really sucked.
I can't believe you watched that finally. Ooh.
Yeah, that was rough.
Wasn't that bad?
Yeah.
It's at least more, and this is at least more cohesive than than a prequel series named Fantastic Beasts.
So what do you want to see? in the future of the MonsterVerse? If they continue, which it seems like they are, because Godzilla vs. Kong was so successful.
I don't know if they've officially announced it yet, but I think that they're doing Son of Kong, which is in development. So I mean, yeah, I would definitely be down to seeing more movies. Maybe venture away from Godzilla and Kong for a couple movies and then come back to them at the end. Maybe, or do like an Avengers style thing where it's like Kong and Godzilla just bring their monsters together and then they team up against like this giant ass monster or something.
It's not Kevin, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna do Endgame but MonsterVerse style. Where it's just like you have the Avengers music playing, dun 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 dun, and then all of a sudden you just hear Kong go, oh, and Godzilla just go.
I hope they do another Godzilla, because I mean, you have like what, 50, 60, 70 years almost of like movies to like draw from. So they could do more Godzilla for sure.
They definitely need another Kong movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, they set up Kong like so well with the Hollow Earth stuff, with the like looking for his family type stuff. And like the thing I love about Kong in this universe is, like I said, as much as I love the 2005 King Kong and the classic, like, it was always like every version of King Kong was always eventually he's going to end up on a tall building and he's going to get shot and he's going to die. And this universe is like, nah, Kong, he's around. Like, he's like doing things.
Yeah.
Like, I like
maybe he will get shot in the next one if it's called Son of Kong.
Maybe it'll be like Bambi, except with more vengeance.
Fuck, I don't even remember Bambi.
Well, the mother gets shot. Spoiler alert.
I always stared at the VHS for Bambi, and I remember thinking to myself when I was little, that's a girl's movie. I don't want to watch that.
I just remember thinking, I hated any of the ones where like the main characters didn't talk. Like, I hated Dumbo and I hated Bambi. And I was like, why don't you people talk? Put on Peter Pan.
Snow Dogs, that was another one that pissed me off. The dogs talk in one sequence. That was it. No, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard because we could go through like a bunch of different monsters here. Here's what I would like to see. I would like to see like this version of Godzilla fight 1998 Godzilla and kick its ass.
Well, okay, so funny story. In one of the later Toho movies from like the 2000s, there's a scene where Zilla, the 98 Godzilla, rushes at like actual Godzilla, and that Godzilla just like tail whips him with one hit and he's out. Like one hit shot. It was amazing.
Nice. Yeah, no, I definitely want Kong to go find Donkey, Diddy, Funky, Cranky, all the Kongs, and then team up for Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where you can go. There's so many like I can't think of all the monsters off the top of my head.
I mean, I still think you should do Pacific Rim crossover. I want to see King Kong fight a Jaeger.
Well, dude, I mean, it's been touted. I think the idea is there because they're not going to do a third Pacific Rim film, which I want them to. I hate when shit stops at 2. You know me. I mean, the idea is there, and it makes sense since the monsters that they fight in Pacific Rim are kaijus, and Godzilla is a kaiju.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily be like, oh, yeah, that place where the what are they called?
The Jaegers?
Not the Jaegers. Are they just called kaiju?
I think they're just called kaiju.
Yeah. Well, so where they come from is like parallel to Hollow Earth or some bullshit, you know?
Yeah, you could easily do that, and then you could have like Godzilla fighting like one of the monsters or something, and then all of a sudden Ron Perlman just cuts his way out of a monster. Where's my goddamn shoe?
And then Charlie Hunnam's there just being like, Jaegers.
Yeah.
Jaegers.
Yeah.
Humanity fought.
Do we bring John Boyega back?
Listen, I forget that movie even exists. You just said that, and I'm like, John Boyega was in Pacific Rim, but I'm like, oh wait, no, yeah, the sequel. I forgot about.
So it wasn't Clint Eastwood's son. Yeah, he was in the second one.
All I remember about that movie is the guy from It's Always Sunny was having like mind sex with an organ.
Wasn't he the dude controlling Mecha Godzilla?
There you go.
He became so obsessed with
kaiju.
the kaiju Yeah, he was literally living with a kaiju brain in the second one, and then he became the villain, which I thought was stupid, but because Charlie Day is a villain. Oh, man. Why wasn't he the one instead of Serizawa's throwaway son, who we're just finding out existed in this movie? Apparently, he was neglected as much as Lex Luthor was neglected.
Yeah, they never mentioned him in the like anything about Serizawa having a son. Like if he was like in those final moments, goodbye, old friend. I hope my son, I hope you protect my son, or something. Something, or like a wallet picture, something. Like he must have literally just like carted him off to like some private school and never talked about him ever again. He's like, you know what, Dad? I hate you so much. I'm gonna build a robot version of the thing you love and then kill the thing you love. But yeah, that would have been a nice thing to cover. But you know what? Oh well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fun movies. Yeah. I like this universe. I hope it continues.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I can see how this could be the stopping point, but if they continue to be fun, I don't want them to stop, honestly. Yep. I mean, I think every universe, unless if you're Marvel, because I don't think Marvel has an end in sight yet. I think you definitely need a stopping point at some point, and just kind of like let it be for maybe like a decade.
Do you think about that for Fast and Furious?
I mean, apparently they're stopping at 11.
These movies, despite the Hollow Earth and Godzilla and King Kong and Skullcrawlers, are all still Mechagodzilla, are still less ridiculous than Fast and Furious.
Apparently they're going to space in F9, so
cool.
We've been waiting for that for like 10 years now.
I miss when those movies were about racing. Anywho, I gotta get going.
Yeah, I'm starting to lose my voice, so.
Yeah. This was a fun conversation.
This was fun, yeah. This was
Kong for life.
This was longer than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
Like, we're at an hour and 11 minutes.
Shit.
Yeah. Time flies when you're talking about how good Godzilla is.
And how great Kong was when he came and saved Godzilla's ass from Serizawa's son. And Kevin. I refuse to acknowledge that as canon. That scene is not canon. Godzilla still wins fair and square. I don't care what you say, guys. So that's our discussion on the MonsterVerse. Godzilla ran away. He ran into the water.
I'm editing this part out, okay? Because that way we can keep the Godzilla stuff in, and I'm gonna edit everything you say about Kong.
You just change what I'm saying. You take it out of context. I think Coolsville sucks.
Yes. Record that. All Fred Jones had to say. But that's our discussion. A long discussion on the MonsterVerse. Can you imagine if we actually had a third person?
This would have been like 3 hours.
we were originally going to have a third person. But
shout out to Christian.
Yeah, and Anthony. I was trying to get Anthony too, but both got tied up at work. So that's our discussion on the MonsterVerse. I said that 3 times now. So it is definitely now time to end the video and get that ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump its guts full of lead. So Pat, where can they find you? Hollow Earth?
You can find me on Twitter at thisPatGuy. Talk about movies, talk about Team Kong. But it's a fun time.
You forgot one place.
What's that?
YouTube. Taking over my channel.
You can find me in my special guest appearances, recurring guest star. I'm like the Oliver Queen of season 6 of Smallville. Yeah. Where I'm there like all the time, but I'm not technically in the credits.
Yeah, exactly. You can find me at my official website, alexmaddenmovies.mystrikingly.com. All my social media links are there for you guys to follow. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden. That was Pat Guy, who is not an ape, despite what he's trying to mime right now. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the movies somewhere. And Team Godzilla is awesome.
No, Team Kong. Team Kong.